What's up, y'all? My name is JR, and for those of you who don't already know, I'm a huge movie and TV nerd. If you're new here, I appreciate you taking the time to check out my channel. I hope you consider sticking around and joining the film community I'm trying to build here on YouTube. So in today's video, I'm going to be giving my reaction and review of the Amazon Prime psychological thriller television miniseries, The Girlfriend. And just so you guys know, this video will contain mild spoilers, so if you haven't gotten around to watching this series yet and you don't want to know anything that happens in it, you might want to exit this video now. And with that being said, no more wasting time. Let's get into it. The Girlfriend is a psychological thriller television series based on Michelle Francis's novel about a devoted mother whose idyllic life is shattered when she meets her son's new girlfriend and she seems suspicious. The series is directed by Robin Wright, who also stars alongside Olivia Cooke and was released in its entirety on Amazon Prime Video on September 10th, 2025. And at the time of the making of this video, the series has an 84% on Rotten Tomatoes, with its popcorn meter currently sitting at 82%. The series has a Metascore of 70 on Metacritic based on 19 critic reviews, with a user score of 7.1 based on just 8 user ratings. And finally, the series has a 7.0 out of 10 on IMDb with just over 1,000 ratings. This show isn't the kind of series I would typically cover here on the channel, as my audience is mostly male, but I found out about it when I was looking for what was coming up in September on the streaming services, and ultimately I decided I would cover it here when I saw that there were only 6 episodes, that they would all be released on the same day, and that Olivia Cooke would be starring. Now, this is a UK series, both as it pertains to location, as it takes place in London and in Spain, and in length, as in it only has 6 episodes. So it's an easy stream this weekend if your week happens to be packed. In fact, you can get through it on a single lazy Saturday or Sunday if you happen to have one to spare. And speaking again of locations, I thought the show depicted London and Spain in a way that gave the show a nice pristine shine, which made the show feel like it cost a lot of money to make. I'm not sure what the actual budget was for this show, but it had a nice little shine to it, boasting, a pretty decent production value. Now, I thought the casting was just okay here. And though I absolutely adore Olivia Cooke, I think someone like Ella Purnell would have worked better for the role of Cherry, mostly because Cherry comes off as super petty and wildly immature, which I think would favor a younger Cherry. And Olivia Cooke, even at only 31 years old, gives the look and feel of someone too mature and refined to play such a character convincingly. My point is that she looks 30. And I think that Ella Purnell could have maybe played the character even 5 years younger than that, which I think might have served the character well, even though Ella Purnell is only 3 years younger than Olivia Cooke is. In fact, she played a character not so much unlike Cherry in Sweet Pea on Starz just last year. Though I know she's been working on season 2 of Fallout, so maybe she just simply wasn't available, and it's just as simple as that, right? Despite that fact, I thought the acting was fine, and Robin Wright did a serviceable job directing, which didn't surprise me, as she's been kind of making her way as a director throughout the industry for quite some time now. Now, the writing I thought was fine for a show like this. It was nothing to write home about, but it didn't drag the show down, and I thought that was a plus because so many times in shows like this, the writing just kind of gets ridiculous. And so I was happy that we didn't have to, spar with just, absolutely outrageous writing throughout these episodes, and that was a plus for me. The episode structure, they typically start with the inciting incident and then rewinds, and ultimately drives us back towards that incident using a dual POV approach, which I think can be interesting if the point is to show how two characters view the same incident differently, as was done brilliantly in Showtime's The Affair, one of my absolute favorite shows of all time. That's not exactly what we get here, though at least not enough to be noticeable, which I think kind of defeats the purpose. Now, there were some times where you would see the subtle changes between the POV of Cherry and Laura whenever the situations kind of overlapped in the story. but it wasn't enough for it to really be, pronounced and for you to really feel what they were trying to use the dual POVs for. And so that was kind of a little bit of a minus for me. Because instead, what we got was, it felt like filler at times. Because whenever they would switch POVs, then you would end up just kind of skipping through the plot haphazardly. It's almost like these dissonant skips, just kind of skipping. And you kind of, there was a disjointing feeling that you would kind of have when they would do this at times. Which I think ultimately made the narrative device fall a bit flat for me. I don't think it was employed precisely or well, particularly well. On top of that, the series arc was wildly predictable, as Cherry and Laura are clearly pointing at each other from the start, and then set on a collision course that culminates in a climax that is both foreseeable and even a bit silly all at the same time. And what comes right after I found to be extremely nonsensical. Like, it's crazy. And I'm not going to spoil that here because the show only came out a couple of days ago at the time of the making of this video. So I'll just say all that to warn you that the ending will likely make you roll your eyes a bit because it just didn't have to go where it went. You should also know that the denouement leaves the door open for a season 2, even though this is being, promoted as a miniseries. And I got to tell you guys, I hate it when people do that, right? If it's a mini, make it a mini, get in and get out. But when you make it into a mini and they go, oh, well, let's wait and see how many people watch it and then let's leave the door open for another season. I tell people, you always mess up when you do this because if the show is meant to be a miniseries, then I assume that you use the entirety of the book to tell the story in the 6 episodes that we got. So once you start writing past the book, you really start to mess up. And I hate when people do that. So I'm just going to tell you guys, I'm sincerely hoping that there's not going to be a season 2 here. But the way that the story ended, it was on a cliffhanger. So, Hollywood, who knows? Now, overall, I'd give this series a 70% or a 7.0 out of 10 if you're thinking IMDb score. Basically, a C letter grade. Look, if I'm being honest, this one's for the ladies. Even though I have to admit, Olivia Cooke definitely brings some sexy in this one. Just as Robin Wright plays neurotic extremely well here. And together, the pair do get you from point A to point Z without crashing the car, so to speak. And the fact that it's a short trip helps the show's cause as well. And will likely help its rating and ranking on Amazon Prime, at least in the short term. There's drama to be had in this series, certainly, with a dash of comic relief. And the actors handled that pretty well. And I'd say if you're a romance drama type, this one is a definite stream. But if you're more about that action, then there are better shows coming out even this month to spend your time on. But what do you guys think? Have you had the chance to watch The Girlfriend yet? If you have, what did you think of Olivia Cooke in the role of Cherry? What did you think about how the final episode ended? Let me know in the comments. And for those of you that might be new to the channel, be sure to like and share this video. If you really like the content, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. That way you'll be notified whenever I drop a new video. You can also now support the channel by leaving a super thanks. If you should be so inclined, I'd greatly appreciate it. Also, feel free to subscribe to my new Shorts channel for additional content. The link is in the description. In addition, be sure to go and check out themadScreenwriter.com for more television and film reviews and info on my upcoming film projects. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I got screenplays to write. And I'll catch y'all on the next video.